In my last video, we looked at how a single diode acts as a half-wave rectifier. But there's a catch. It essentially throws away half of your power. Today, we're levelling up to the full wave bridge rectifier. This circuit is the industry standard for a reason. Instead of just blocking the negative half of the AC cycle, it actually flips it, redirecting that energy so that both halves of the wave contribute to your DC output. It's more efficient, provides smoother power, and is the heart of almost every DC power supply. If the concept of a diode as a one-wave valve is new to you, I recommend checking out my Diode Basics video first. But if you're ready to see how 4 diodes work together to tame AC power, then let's get started. Now, even though the rectifier will capture both halves of the wave, the power is still pulsing. If you tried to run a sensitive microchip on this, it wouldn't be very happy. Stick around until the end. I'm going to show you how a single smoothing capacitor can iron out those bumps. We'll get the oscilloscope out and watch in real time as we transform that raw pulsing signal into a clean, steady DC line. In the earlier video, I showed how a single diode acts as a half-wave rectifier. Whilst this technically creates DC, it's very inefficient because it simply blocks half the signal, leaving us with big gaps of wasted energy. By combining 4 diodes into a full wave bridge, we can do something much smarter. Instead of just blocking the negative half of the cycle, this circuit actually flips it. This gives us much more consistent DC voltage and makes use of every bit of energy coming from the transformer. To make this work, we arrange our 4 diodes in this specific diamond pattern. We connect our incoming AC power to the left and right nodes. The magic happens at the output. We get our positive DC voltage from the top and our common ground at the bottom. During the positive half of the AC cycle, the current flows along the red path, passing through the first diode to provide a positive voltage at the top of our resistor. To complete the circuit, the current then follows the blue return path, travelling through the diagonally opposite diode and back to the power source. And here is where it gets interesting. When the AC cycle flips, the current is forced through a different diode, but it still arrives at the top of our resistor. The return path now uses the final diode, which is diagonally opposite the one that the current entered through. Even though the AC input has completely reversed direction, the current through our resistor stays exactly the same. This is how we harvest that negative energy instead of just blocking it. Let's see this in action. Because of the way the oscilloscope grounding works, I can't show the AC and DC signals at the same time, so I've captured them separately for you to compare. On top, in yellow, is our original AC input voltage. As you can see, it's swinging both above and below that 0 volt marker on the left. In the middle, in blue, is the half-wave rectifier. Notice how it only shows the positive half. That flat line in between is all that energy being completely lost. Finally, at the bottom, we have our full wave bridge rectifier. Because we are harvesting both the positive and negative cycles, we now have a continuous set of peaks. There's no more dead time when the power is lost. Notice that when the top AC wave repeats 50 times a second, our bottom wave is bumping 100 times a second. We've doubled the frequency of the pulses. This is shown by the frequency measurement on our oscilloscope. Before we look at the real-time oscilloscope view, it's worth looking at how these components are actually packaged. Whilst you can build a bridge using 4 discrete diodes, it's much more common to buy them as a single pre-made unit. These typically have 4 pins, 2 marked for your AC input and 2 marked plus and minus for your DC output. You'll find these in many shapes and sizes depending upon the voltage and current they need to handle. The one I'm using here is the RS203. It can handle up to 200 volts and 2 amps. You might notice the datasheet mentions a 1.1 volt voltage drop. Remember, because the current always passes through a pair of diodes, it's the small tax we pay for the rectification process. Now, let's see this running live on the oscilloscope. Here are our 100 Hz pulsers, pulsing DC. It's better than half wave, but it's still not the steady power our electronics need. As you can see, the voltage goes from 0 up to the peak of around 20 volts and then back down to 0 again. Watch what happens when I add a capacitor to the circuit. Look at that, the capacitor acts like a temporary battery, filling in the gaps between those peaks. You'll notice the voltage doesn't drop to 0 anymore. While we still hit a peak of around 20 volts, the capacitor holds the energy well enough that the voltage only dips to 10 volts before the next pulse arrives to top it up again. So again, here's ground, this is around 10 volts and this is around 20 volts. I've wired up two circuits so we can see these waveforms side by side. The ground of the second circuit is here. As you can see, we're just about reaching 0 and then going back up again. Whereas on the other circuit, we're at 0 volts, 10 volts is the dip, and then 20 volts is the peak. If I move the signals together, you'll see they line up almost perfectly. But what's happening here is we can see that the voltage is charging the capacitor here and then discharging down here before the voltage starts to go up again. The capacitor-backed version decays much more slowly. This is the charge-discharge cycle in action. I'm using a 10 microfarad capacitor here, but we can do much better. If I switch this to a 1000 microfarad capacitor, the reservoir is so much larger that the voltage stays almost constant. So as you can see, this yellow line is an almost constant straight line showing a DC signal. There is still a tiny bit of variation, which we call ripple, but you have to zoom in quite far to see it. Move this out of the way. And what I can do is remove the DC component from the display and then zoom in. And you see this is the ripple. This is actually around the 20 volt point, and this is just showing the variation on that. And as you can see, the value goes from here to here, which at 100 millivolts is less than 200 millivolts for the entire variation. So we've successfully turned oscillating AC into a much more useful pulsing DC. Whilst we used a 1000 microfarad capacitor to fill in those gaps today, in more demanding circuits you might see larger capacitors and often a voltage regulator to create a perfectly flat line. If you found this breakdown of the Bridge Rectifier helpful, please do hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you'd like to see a dedicated video on how to choose the right capacitor or how those voltage regulators work to kill that final bit of ripple, let me know in the comments. I build my future videos based on what you want to learn next. Thanks for watching. In this video we've seen how the full wave bridge rectifier harvests both halves of an AC signal to create DC power. We also took a look at how a simple capacitor can help smooth out that voltage for our electronics. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please give the penguin a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all my future videos. You can also visit my website, penguintutor.com, which is packed with information on electronics, programming and my own maker projects. I look forward to seeing you on a future video.